Welcome back to TalkToCanadians.com. I'm Trevor, this is Luke, and we've got a lecture here for you. So sit back, enjoy, grab the popcorn, your notepad, paper, whatever you need. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. So what did you miss the most in South Korea?
What did I miss the most?
Yeah.
I think just the friends that I had and the
Yeah.
relationships I was building with the people there. And I think
Yeah.
over time, I started to really get comfortable making Korean friends and being involved in that kind of culture. And then coming back here was a big shift, you know, getting to know my old friends again and getting to integrate back into this society. It was a bit of like reverse culture shock in some ways.
자, 여기서 보면 지금 조가 shift라는 표현을 사용했어요. Shift something from A to B. Shift. Trevor, so what is shift here? So he said he shift something from...
Well, he said it was a big shift for him.
Yeah.
And he's talking about moving from back from Korea to Canada. And when he's saying shift, he's basically talking about a movement from one spot to another to shift your perspective, to shift your way of understanding where you are, to literally to shift means to just like to move something back, to shift sideways or whatnot. But when he says to shift from Korea to Canada, he's talking about moving his whole personality, his whole life from one culture to another culture.
So similar to transition, right? Transition.
Very similar to transition. Transition takes a shift, but also involves getting used to and adapting to that shift.
Okay, thank you. 자, 그래서 shift 같은 경우는 어떠한 이동하는 거를 말하는 거예요. 그래서 한국에서 있을 때, 하고 그다음 캐나다에서 있을 때, 그래서 한국에서 한 2년 정도 있다가 캐나다로 오니까 그게 큰 shift였다라고 설명을 하고 있죠. 그다음 integrate이라는 표현이 나와 있어요. Integrate back to Toronto, integrate back to Canada. What do you mean by integrate?
Integrate means to work your way back into the culture, for example. So to integrate back into the city life would mean to work your way back into being used to and comfortable in how to live or interact or how to be in a city, because life in a city is very different to life in a countryside, or life in Korea is very different to life in Canada.
자, 그래서 integrate 같은 표현 같은 경우는 예를 들어서 어떤 곳에 가서 새로운 곳에서 여러분들이 거기서 적응을 하려면 그 새로운 그 사회에 integrate 해야 된다는 거죠. 그러니까 거기에 들어가서 많은 사람들하고 이제 인터랙션을 하면서 거기에 사회의 한 구성원이 된다라는 그런 표현이 되겠습니다. 그래서 그거는 integrate 이라는 표현을 사용을 해요. Moving on. And they assume that your Korean is not so good enough, so they speak English, and they also want to speak English, so they speak to you in English all the time.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, the whole experience wasn't just roses, right? It wasn't perfect in every way.
Yeah. 자, roses라고 나와 있어요. Rose. So my experience was not roses or something.
Yeah,
What is roses?
Wasn't just roses.
Yeah, it wasn't just roses. What is that?
It's a phrase meaning that it wasn't just beautiful. You know, you take a rose, you give it to the one you love. It smells wonderful. It feels nice. It looks really pretty.
Yeah.
He's saying things weren't just as beautiful, wonderful, and pretty as you'd expect.
So, sounds like, you know, he went through a little bit of tough time. It's not like, you know, everything went through as the way he wanted, right?
Exactly. So you would use that phrase when you came across a difficult situation that you may not have expected, where you might want to express that you might have been having a good time, but it wasn't always good. So things weren't always just roses.
Okay, thank you. 무슨 말인지 이해되셨죠? 그래서 rose라는 것은 그 장미꽃을 말하는 건데요. 그래서 rosy 하면 그 밝은 미래, 뭐 rosy future, 뭐 이렇게 하면 되게 이제 장밋빛 미래를 말하는 거잖아요. 그래서 it wasn't always roses라는 표현을 사용을 하면 항상 그것이 긍정적인 쉬운 것만은 아니었다라는 의미가 있겠죠. Let's move on to the next one.
If I was on my own, it would be easier because some people don't know any English and they have to interact with me in that foreign language. But if I was with, say, a Korean friend and we went out for dinner or just at the grocery store, I'm cashing out some items.
자, 지금 cashing out some items라고 표현을 말을 했던 것 같은데 what do you mean by that? Cash out some items?
Cash out means to go and pay for something.
Cashing out. So cash out some items, that means you're buying something and you're paying for those items.
You're at a store, your grocery store, and you need to pay for that. So you're going to cash out.
Cash in? Cash in. Is there an expression like that? Cash in?
There is an expression cash in, but it doesn't really have anything to do with shopping as far as I know.
Can you explain like a cash in?
Cash in. Well, this sort of goes into my poker understanding, where you're playing games where you're betting, you're cashing in, you're trying to get the money, so you're cashing in. You've won and you're cashing in. You're winning something.
So when you play, for instance, poker or blackjack, and you get chip, and you go and you want to get money by giving the chip to receptionist, whatever, then you're cashing in.
Exactly, because that chip is not worth any money.
You're cashing your chip, okay.
You can't take that chip to the grocery store outside. You got to change it to money, so you're cashing in. You're taking your chips in and getting your cash. You're cashing in.
그래서 캐시아웃 같은 경우는 쉽게 말하면 그 캐시 아웃, 다시 말하면 돈을 내고 물건을 사는 거예요. 그래서 purchase 의미가 있죠. buy라는 의미가 있어요. cash in 같은 경우는 보통 이제 포커나 이제 게임 같은 거 하면 여러분들 칩이나 어떠한 그 쿠폰 같은 거 받잖아요. 그러면 가서 그거를 현금으로 받아야 될 거 아니에요. 그때 사용하는 표현이 cash in 이런 표현을 사용하네요. 캐시가 들어오니까 cash in. 이해되셨죠? Let's move on to the next one. Anyway, thank you for coming out to my show, your show too. And so we are going to talk together after this.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll see you. See you at some events and some street shows, and you'll get to know me and Luke more, and
All right.
and our website. And
Okay. So anyway, thank you. I really appreciate. So far, I was with another host and Joe. So thank you for watching TalkToCanadians.com. Have a good day.
talk to you
Bye.
later. See ya.
Bye. 자, 그래서 오늘 그 조는 어떤 얘기를 했냐면 한국에서 있었던 그 경험을 이야기했고요. 한국의 좋은 기억들 뿐만 아니라 한국에 있었을 때 힘들었던 점에 대해서 이야기를 좀 했습니다. 자, 그래서 뭐 특별하게 조가 어려운 표현을 사용한 거는 거의 없는 것 같아요. I don't think he used any really difficult expressions here.
I didn't have any problems myself, but
Of course, man. Yeah. But he was really sincere talking about his experience in South Korea as a foreigner trying to learn Korean language, but a lot of Korean people, they assume that your Korean is not that good. On top of that, they want to practice their English, right? So they respond in English.
well, he showed you the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
To add a phrase into this, basically, he's showing you the other side of the perspective of an English native speaker learning Korean and what it's like to live in Korea and trying to learn a language in a foreign country. And he definitely relates to what it'd be like for a lot of you guys to come to Canada and experience that transition.
Yeah, transition, shift. 자, 그래서 뭐 여러분들 그 보통 이제 한국에 이제 외국인이 오면 정말로 그 큰 마음가짐을 가지고 나도 코리안을 열심히 공부해서 정말 코리안을 마스터할 거야 이런 마음을 가지고 오는 그런 사람들이 있을 거예요. 그러면 그 사람들을 그냥 자기가 영어를 프랙티스하는 그런 도구로 사용하지 마시고요. 진지하게 그 사람들하고 친구가 될 수 있도록 한국어를 배우고 싶은 목적이 있으면 한국어를 배울 수 있도록 도와주세요. 자기가 영어 프랙티스하는 도구로 사용하는 사람들이 가끔가다 있는 것 같거든요. 그거는 진지한 그런 어떠한 그 의미의 친구는 아니다고 저는 생각을 해요. So do you know what I was talking about to my viewers? So basically there are some Koreans who are approaching foreigners in a way that they want to practice their English. I don't think this is right approach. Maybe.
Well, especially if you're in Korea, approaching foreigners in Korea, maybe let them experience what it's like to speak the language firsthand.
Yeah. So just sometimes, speak Korean, right? And if their Korean is not that good, maybe speak English, maybe like a 50%, 60%. Over the course of time, you can increase maybe Korean a little bit more so that, mutually beneficial. Not only you, but also like someone who's trying to learn Korean.
Well, meeting people from a different country is not about practicing your language.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
really
of
about
course.
developing relationships.
Yeah,
So you can't turn everything into an English lesson. You gotta.
Of course.
You gotta give and take.
Yep. Yeah. Of course. 자, 트래블 선생님이 하신 말 아시겠죠? 자, time to say goodbye to our viewers.
Is it that time already?
Oh yeah, time really flies.
All right.
Okay. So take care. See you guys
care.
next time. Bye.